Here's what I'm thinking. Why is it doing that? Here's what I'm thinking. Why is it doing that? Jesus. Oh yeah. Today's been fucking weird. Let's just say that. We're at 13%. It's not that bad. 10%, 7%. Okay. I mean, I guess I could work with that. I bet the audio's fine, right? It's gonna echo a little, I'm sorry. I bet the audio's fine, right? It's gonna echo a little, I'm sorry. I bet the audio's fine, right? The audio's great. I mean, as far as I can tell. Okay. Omniverse. Anniversary. And what? An omniversary. Jesus.
Finale anniversary live stream. So, as many of you viewers may know, the Ben 10 franchise began with what is now retroactively known as the Prime Continuity.
Wait a minute. Anniversary. What?
Finale anniversary live stream. So, as many of you.
Okay, this is working. Let me just. Jesus fucking Christ. No, I haven't been as active on Twitter as I could be. That'll have to change. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not receiving enough video. I mean, it's not receiving enough video. I mean, it's got 0 drop frames, which is good.
In December 2005.
Okay. I'm gonna go get myself a drink. Be right back. Is my sound working okay? Or audio, I should say. Is my sound working okay? Or audio, I should say. Is my sound working okay? Or audio, I should say. Wonderful.
Ben Prime's story was told over the next few years through 4 series, which concluded in 220 episodes, 5 movies, and it all came to an end with the last episode 10 years ago today, on November 14th, 2014, with A New Dawn, written by Matt Youngberg and directed by Dan Reba. So since the Prime series concluded, Ben 10 has still continued
Dan Reba is a
with
guy
the
who
2016 iteration of the series,
lot
which
of
ran
Alien
for 5
Force
seasons. The 5th season being
and
made up of
Ultimate
3
Alien, I think.
hour-long specials with its own movie, which came to an end in 2021. But now we have a comic book adaptation on the way. So, along with many fans who grew up with the show keeping the spirit of Ben 10 alive this way, which came to an end in 2021, made up of 3 hour-long specials with its own movie, which came to an end in 2021. But now we have a hour-long special, the series, which ran concluded. Ben 10 has still continued with the 2016 iteration of the series, which ran for 5 seasons.
No,
the
the
5th
reboot.
season being made up of 3 hour-long specials with its own movie, which came to an end in 2021. But now we have a comic book adaptation on the way. So, along with many fans who grew up with the show keeping the spirit of Ben 10 alive, this show is still, relevant in the minds of, hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. So, we're here to talk about Omniverse, which is one of the most beloved shows of the era. So I'm here again, with Kellen. How you doing today, Kellen?
I'm good. I'm really excited. Omniverse was, a huge part of my coming up. So this is very surreal. And having gotten to become friends with some of the voice actors on it as well, I'm very grateful that I could bring a few of them on here to play with us today, and of course Charlotte and Daniel as well. We'll get to introducing them now. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and introduce who we have on this wonderful panel today?
certainly. So let's start with the man himself, Yuri Lowenthal, who has been the voice of teenage Ben Tennyson since 2008. Yuri's role in the franchise has expanded in Omniverse by voicing the aliens Kickenhawk, Walkatrout, Accelerate, Upgrade, Alien X, and, of course, the fan favorite Feedback.
D.
Yuri
Bradley
also...
Baker can't voice them all.
Yeah.
No,
No.
yeah,
Well,
he can, but
Yeah, you had to cinch some of them from him.
right.
Also, Albedo and Vilgax in this newest reboot here. How you doing today, man?
So good. People still. When I go to conventions, the amount of people who still come up every time to tell me how much this show has meant to them and continues to mean to them is astounding. So
I'm gonna just
very
check on
happy to be here
the
today because
feedback.
honestly, it has always been that for me too.
We're grateful to have you here, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for asking.
And then we have Mr. Alexander Polinsky here, who voices RJ, one of Kevin's many criminal contacts, and who has stuck around the franchise until the end, growing closer and closer to the main cast, and eventually becoming president of the Earth. How are you doing, sir?
I'm feeling very presidential.
Good. Glad to
You're
hear
so
it.
lucky.
It's exciting to have to be here with y'all after 10 years, and definitely it's a celebration.
Again, so sorry
I
for the
went to,
feedback.
I went to
The
Thailand,
audio is fine, I guess.
for a month a few years ago, and when I tell you Ben 10 is everywhere in that country. It is insane how popular. With all the knockoff toys and everything, you're like, this isn't canon, and you're like, no, still the kids need it. Kids they want it. So it's great to see y'all. Great to see Yuri again. Let's share some stories.
Is that where they have like the roller coaster or the theme park or something? Is Thailand?
I think it is.
That's crazy.
It's lucky.
That's crazy.
Wow.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
in
going
fact,
to
we're
Thailand next.
We're going back.
Oh, we gotta go.
I'll meet you there in December. We're going back in December, and we're probably going to go to go see that in Bangkok.
All right, Bangkok time.
Cool.
One night in Bangkok. And then we have Mr. David K down here, who joined Omniverse as the galaxy's greatest husband. Huntsman Tiber. He also
Dude sounds like
voices,
Dan Green,
Cannibal,
honestly.
Shock Squatch, Frankenstrike, Mustache, and in the last season there he got to voice the little booger on Ben's Watch Scared, who we all love dearly. And then in the reboot, he returned as Grandpa Max, Shock Rock, Humongosaur, and Asthma. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It's great to see you, Colin.
Great to see you too, man.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Thanks. I'm trying, man. It hurts, you know. Just got my beanie on today.
Feel that.
Every day it's a cold plunge, and you know, and I can move. And so after all those years of being a stupid athlete, it's taking its toll.
Yeah.
Thank God I can do voiceover stuff because I don't know what else to do.
Thank goodness your voice is as strong as your body, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying, man.
Yeah.
But it's strange that again what Yuri said. I mean, Yuri will always be the teenager, like he's still to this day. I mean, look at him. He's the teenager. He's the kid. The kid.
Infinitely
amazing.
useful, doing blood sacrifices or
Yeah,
something.
I know. Really, that's what's happening. He is. I knew it was the blood sacrifice.
Keep that
I
portrait
knew it.
of you in the attic, safe.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
No,
That's right.
yeah, no, I went into his hotel at one of these cons and he had like a pentagram on the floor. I was like, what do you got that for? Man?
That was already there. I swear to God, it was already there.
That's right, it was Hilton. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then Charlotte, it's so good to see you'll
Great to
introduce
see
her,
you
but my
too.
God,
I
it's
get your
just been
messages
so
every
long.
once in a while on Facebook, and
Yeah,
I
I
relax
miss you.
at
I miss you
replying.
dearly.
Miss you too.
Go ahead. Anyway, Kellen, please introduce the next guest.
Actually, I would like to throw it back to Rob for these last two guests because Rob is the reason that they are here today. So, would you like to take it away?
Well, I also do want to give a shout out to James from the Watchtower database. He is the one who connected me with Dan. We've done a couple of collaborations with the Watchtower, and great channel. Go check him out if you love DCAU. But yeah, so we are here with Dan Reba, who his ties begin way back in the classic series as a storyboard artist, but later directed dozens of episodes from Alien Force all the way to Omniverse, including the final episode, which aired 10 years ago today, A New Dawn. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is wonderful, and you also seem to bring along a friend here as a very, very special treat. We are also joined by Charlotte Fullerton McDuffie, a writer since Alien Force, who grew to become one of the head writers of Omniverse alongside Matt Wayne. It's an honor to have everybody here today. How you doing today, Charlotte?
Great. I'm excited to be here, and you can see all the Ben 10 that I had written back. I can't believe it's been 10 years. You're killing me. But yeah, the video games, the shows, the comic books, the everything. Ben was a huge part of my life, so I'm really happy to be here today.
It doesn't feel like it, does it? Crazy.
Yeah,
Not
no,
at all.
it's still...
It's like
Yep.
Just like that. I
They always
remember
said
it.
it would be like this.
recording, like running into Cartoon Network and recording the show today.
Remember Cartoon Network?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
That's
remember?
right. You can
Oh
tell
my
we're dating
gosh.
ourselves. We're dating
Who
ourselves.
would've-
Remember Cartoon Network?
Back in the day. Yeah.
Right, who would have thought we'd be able to say
Old
that?
timey boys.
Remember syndicated television? Remember TiVo?
TiVo.
Remember shows?
Yeah, remember
Oh yeah.
Scripted television.
I still remember laying on the couch in my high school drama backstage playing Omniverse 2 on my little 3DS there
Oh,
every day.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is a great circle about here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun today. So the way that we're going to do things today is we'll start off the stream with a few designated questions for each one of our guests. I've been collecting questions from our fans over the past week on our social medias, so if you've left a comment there, I thumbed through them all and tried to pick ones or, combine questions and try to pick the ones that I feel like would best create the most entertaining conversations today. So we'll go through all of our questions one by one, and then afterwards we'll take a short break to give everyone an opportunity to talk about any upcoming projects they're doing, or any voice roles, anything writers might be working
Philanthropy.
on. If you're allowed
Whatever
to,
you'd like.
yeah, whatever
Yeah.
you'd like to talk about. And then we'll finish off with just some fun questions for everyone as a group. So let's start with Yuri. So our first question for you is: originally you landed the role of Ben for the first sequel series, Alien Force. Nearly 5 years later, you were on your third go at the character with Omniverse. So do you remember what was going through your head at that point? And did you imagine playing Ben would be this large of a commitment?
No, what was going through my head was I can't believe I escaped the chopping block twice. Like you land it, and then when they reboot the show, they're usually like, "Hey, clean slate," but I know that Ultimate Alien and Alien Force were very close. They didn't really redo everything for that, and so I felt lucky still, but it was not as much of a surprise as with Omniverse, because that did entail an entire new look, an entire new sort of grouping of the characters, and I thought, well, I had my time and it was great and I'll always love it, but here we go, ready to hand it off to somebody else. And so when I didn't get handed off, I considered myself like triple lucky, and I did not think it was going to be quite the commitment it was. You don't get to very much in this business play a character for as long as I got to do it, and I'm just still to this day super grateful.
Through his evolution as a character, were there any intentional differences for Ben's betrayal by the time you got to Omniverse, or was he always just Ben Tennyson in your perspective?
I mean, he was always Ben, but in Omniverse, just because everything else had changed, I felt that we had to change him a little bit, and it's hard because it was me as Ben and it was still me as Ben, so there was only so much that I felt like he changed. But because the tone of the show and the look of the show changed a little bit, I felt that I had to change him a little bit. I think if you had to isolate the change, it would be that he had grown up quite a bit by the end of Ultimate Alien, and I had to scrape a little bit of that away because it was that Omniverse was a little goofier, and he was returned a little bit to some of his not so grown up behavior. So I think that was it.
A bit more jovial.
Yeah.
Cool. I got one here. You've been given a lot of praise, rightfully so, for your role as Ben, and later, even some of his aliens. But do you ever hear much fan engagement specifically for Albedo? He's arguably Ben's most popular enemy, next to Vilgax and Kevin, and with Charlotte, very popular enemy. And he's also a role you played off and on for your whole run as Ben. So I'm curious if there are any hardcore just Albedo fans out there.
100%. I do get as many cosplayers as I get for Ben. I love it when somebody walks up as Albedo, and they do. So I've always loved. You get to. Playing villains is just, any actor will say, is always the best. And I think it's because you get to take what people know as, good, and just turn it on its head. Whether, we get to play villains because we get to act badly with no consequences. And that's the draw of playing villains, I think, and exploring that. And Albedo is so fun and so glorious. I get as many people wanting me to say it's hero time as I do wanting me to say, bring me chili fries! There it is.
Charlotte, was the chili fries thing your idea? Do you know whose idea that was in the first place?
I'm trying to remember. Ben's love of chili fries goes back to Dwayne and Glenn.
Yeah.
Right.
Glenn Murakami, Dwayne McDuffie. Other than writing it into as much as I could because it got such a laugh every time. and that's Albedo's passion. Anyway, it's a reason that he puts up with being on Earth and in a human body at all. Is that he's addicted to chili fries.
The live chat's currently going crazy over the chili fries quote.
Well, it started out that this human body was craving chili fries, and he was kind of resentful of that. But I think it turned around and he came to love them.
Albedo is 50% chili fries, 50% spite.
Yeah. Love it.
I love it.
And so we'll close off our Yuri questions with this last one. So since the ending of Omniverse, you've still had a few opportunities to voice Ben again, such as the 2016 reboot's final episode, featuring multiple alternate versions of Ben based on the previous shows, and most recently in a video campaign for Stand With Animation.
Yes.
And just as an aside, everybody please go sign the petition for Stand With Animation. It's very
Yeah,
important.
we'll put a link to that in the chat here. I'll go
Thank
find
you
that.
guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So even just that one line, people were loving it. It was being reposted. They were like, Yuri's playing Ben again. So do you think you've reached a satisfying conclusion with your time as Ben, or would you take
No.
up the mantle again?
No,
No?
I'll just cut you off right there, Rob. No, I will always carry out a hot burning torch for Ben, and if they, and I'll just put it out there, all it would take is one phone call for somebody to say, hey, do you want to, and they wouldn't even get to the end of the sentence. If they ever wanted me back in any way, shape, or form to play Ben, I would do that. Even
That's
if it was even if it was like Ben 10,000 as a live action, like old guy Ben, I would totally do that.
That'd be really cool. Like,
great
if there was
idea.
I mean,
like
playing, getting to play, having them trust me to come back and play Vilgax in the last reboot, and to be the villain of a show where I once played the hero. I mean, was also like really up there on my list, because who gets to do that? But Ben will always have my heart, and yes, I would always say yes.
Heck yeah. Quick tech question, Rob. How do we pin a thing in the chat? I would like to pin that.
Right here.
Excellent.
So currently pinned in the chat is the Stand With Animation petition. So it only takes a couple of seconds. It's very important. There's a lot of informative videos out there already to give you a more detailed explanation on what it's for. But in one of them, you get to hear Yuri as Ben again. So, if that's not enough motivation for you, so.
Yeah, performing with one of my heroes, Adam Conover. For any of you who ever watched Adam Ruins Everything, is the best. Yeah.
And Alex Hirsch, yeah.
And Alex Hirsch? Oh my God, I know. I keep forgetting that he's a.
His range is incredible. I didn't even know it was him until like Grunkle Stan showed up and said, "I'm drinking real alcohol." Crazy. Mr. Alex. Hello, sir.
Hello.
I have a question for you. Is that all right?
All right, why don't you go ahead and ask?
Very well. Arjit started off as what seemed like a one-off character to help establish Kevin's shady lifestyle. However, he kept returning in unexpected ways and was soon upgraded to a supporting character in Omniverse, earning his own arc even about leaving his criminal lifestyle to pursue a public hero image. So what was your perspective on Arjit when you first got the role? And then what was it like to keep being brought back?
Well, obviously you can't get enough of the bad guy.
No, never.
But there was always a little hope in there because he's good with people, maybe, and you could tell it's like like I was saying, Derek Wyatt was a big influence in my career, and he was always telling me like that the characters that I ended up voicing like Arjit were a bit of him, and so. Derek was loud, but he also had a huge heart. He could be really opinionated, and he had a huge heart. And I kind of wanted to bring a little bit of that in, but it didn't start trickling in till later. And I'm really gratified people liked the character so much, and that he had that arc, and people liked him, and he came back. It felt good, A lot of times, for villains, I play a lot of villains. And they don't have much arc, and that's fun. You can just keep hitting it right there, and it'll always work. so surprising that they brought me back and the character started to change and he started to have a little more compassion after I just I looked at the wiki and I reminded myself, it was like the change started to come in the people of the aliens in the Undertown, kind of like I got some love there, and then when I got my position as the president, I started becoming nicer, and I think that's because Argent needs a lot of attention.
Yes.
Needs a lot of
Yes.
a lot of attention. I think maybe he didn't get so much attention at home,
Yeah.
and so he
When
got
you're
it from
born
his
in a when you're born in a litter, you know.
yeah, you got to stand out. You got to stand out.
Absolutely.
And
And you
I
did.
remember. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'd just say you did.
Yeah, and like just one more thing on the end. You know, Derek and I were talking, and Derek was like, you know, we did want Argent to deploy his ultimate weapon at least once during the series, and it was very quick. You could miss it. You have to go back to see it. But think about this: if a porcupine is able to shoot every quill off his own body at once, what happens to his clothes? They blow the F off.
Like the Hulk.
And exactly, he is like the Hulk. Don't piss Argent off. He is very much like the Incredible Hulk. You'll be hurt, and he will be partially nude.
We don't want either.
And if you hit the pause button, they weren't brave enough to do the full. But Argent is left almost nude in his tidy whities after deploying his ultimate defense mech.
You could say he
Yeah.
had one quill that he wasn't able to quite get rid of.
Lucky for us.
Fantastic.
Well, on that note,
Porcupine pubes aren't that
They're like shurikens.
You gotta watch it down there. It's gotta be a little softer down there, obviously.
So another question for you is, while Yuri and David had their attention split over multiple characters, your focus was primarily on Argent for the most part. But if you were given the opportunity to voice one of Ben's aliens, what would your dream alien be? You could even make up an alien right now if you'd like to.
That's a weird question, because
I told you.
I just like, because it's kind of like asking a person like, do you want to